Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to the Undercard Smocks podcast. We're talking all about the wrestling week gone by. It's our first in-depth podcast anyway after Raw and SmackDown, the first Raw and SmackDowns after WrestleMania. I'm your host Matthew Dale. I'm here with a good friend of mine and wrestling fanatic, Bradley Smith.
Hello.
How are you, Bradley?
I'm good. We had a good week of wrestling. I'm excited to talk about it, Raw especially. And how are you doing?
I'm very well. I was quite impressed with Raw and SmackDown, as I should be, as the especially the Raw after WrestleMania is always one to enjoy and delve into, and as we will delve into it. It was a great start to Raw, wasn't it? It was in a way, no one, they pan to the crowd and thank you, take a chance, as we expected, which then change into Roman sucks.
Yeah.
And out came Roman Reigns to a raucous crowd, a chorus of boos. And how do you think the first Raw after WrestleMania started, in your opinion?
Well, firstly, go listen to our WrestleMania special. We had a fantastic chat about the WrestleMania just gone by, and this was the first Raw. Started off fantastic for me. It took 9 minutes for Roman Reigns to talk. That's a lot of chanting. But, he worked the crowd quite well. And, this would be perfect to turn him heel. And again, they still won't. They still won't go with it. And, the crowd were very vocal on how we all feel.
Yeah. Well, they should have booked Reigns like this forever. It's just he knew what was going to happen. No one had to tell him. I wouldn't think anyway. The mic came up and towards his mouth, and the boo just got louder and louder, and then all he had to say is just a one sentence, and it was very much like last year. Last year, he had this tagline, he had this slogan. He's like, I'm not a good guy, I'm not a bad guy, I'm the guy. And that annoyed a lot of people, annoyed a hell of a lot of people. And this is my yard, that's the one. This is my yard stuff. It annoys people too.
Exactly.
And that's it's not. I thought it was just done, just poor script writing, but it's done to get the crowd working.
It was such a heel tagline. You could work that for months, and it would work so well. But they're not going to. They're going to, let Roman do whatever he wants. And, it's not exactly his fault. We take it out on Roman a lot. But we're just frustrated, and expressing ourselves through Roman at Vince for, not letting, but it looks very clear that's going to be Brock and Roman going into Mania. And we're just getting annoyed that it's not going to be someone like you want to see someone like Rollins, Balor, Owens, someone like that in the main event. Even Sami Zayn, and we're not going to get that for next year. So we're just being vocal through Roman, and it's not exactly Roman's fault. I understand why people are frustrated though.
This is the super push that he's getting, that he's got for a while over the last couple of years, and he's this is still ongoing. Now carry on.
There's things that I really want to happen next week, which don't look like they're going to happen anymore. But imagine if a Raw had AJ Styles on it or something. Roman would be gone. He wouldn't be relevant anymore. And for those reasons, I don't think we're going to see such a big superstar shake-up, which we'll come to.
Although there's a lot of potential in both brands, I still feel there are things that need to stay the same. And although a lot of people love change, there are certain aspects of each show, that need to stay exactly where it is. So we're not going to see someone like a Reigns and Styles very soon, I don't feel.
No, but what I think is, apart from the Triple H faction storyline going ahead, we don't need anything else on Raw that's going on, apart from maybe Jericho and Owens as well. I think everything should start fresh.
Yeah, I mean, they said a lot last year that there was a new era. That was like another tagline, and I think there's this WrestleMania just gone. As there's these matches, there were so many big builds for dedicated long-term booking for a while, and they've always come to fruition. So yeah, I think it's a great way to start things again by making things fresh and making new storylines.
Well, the start of the new season, as they call it for some reason. We saw a new GM, we saw returns, we saw debuts, and it's these kind of things that they need to start fresh. And I think you should mix up a bit to accompany these debuts. And I don't know. Like we say this a lot. We don't know how much the GM has to put into Raw, but I'm hoping the new GM will do big things and give us what we want and not what Vince wants.
Well, there's something that the whole all wrestling fans wanted, and we got, was the return of the Hardy Boys at WrestleMania, and it's the first time they're back on Raw, and this is the first time that we saw the Hardy Boys as a tag team for the first time in 9 years.
Yeah, I got the chills again when the music hit. People say wrestling can't make you emotional, but I had another tear in my eye when Jeff hit that swanton bomb. I don't know what came over me, but it really just hits deep, because he's kind of thankful for how far my wrestling career as such has come. I used to love seeing that swanton bomb, so all that came flooding back. When SmackDown used to be on Friday nights, pre-recorded already, just seeing it all the time. It would never get old. So seeing it one more time was just fantastic, and they retained their tag titles.
Yeah, expected against the club. I have my reservations about the way that they were introduced, just because you had, the course of, not many boos, but negative reaction to the club, which is obviously expected. And, why not just have silence for a minute or more, just have those delete chants, and then, when the crowd aren't expecting it, just play that theme tune. Such a pop. They've just done differently, because the announcer, Jojo, just like here, they're making their first appearance in so many years, the Hardy Boys. It's just like, it sucks. Although they still got a massive, a great pop, it would have been like 10 times more.
They don't need the intro. That's the thing. They're the Hardys. They're the arguably the best tag team ever on WWE. They don't need the introduction. That whole stupid build up was. It's as if we forgot 24 hours ago they appeared. No one forgot. The delete chants were going for all night. It's not like they were gonna forget. Exactly. So they didn't need that. I agree. But yeah, they've really brought a revival, as I should say. Pardon the pun to Raw, and we're going to hear those delete chants for months to come. And
what do you think about the broken gimmicks not being used at the moment anyway? I'm not sure what's going to happen in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think in the future we will see it. WWE is so powerful, they will take that from Impact, they will go to court or whatever, they'll take it. But I think it's just nice to kind of to bring them in as the Hardys, as we all know and love. And he'll get round to it, I think. But Jeff's not going to go to Brother Nero. Jeff will be Jeff, and they'll merchandise them out. Yeah. They'll do what they did last time. But hopefully Vince has a bit more respect for him now. Imagine he's clean and top performer. Yeah. I mean, and we're saying this, they've just done it for the nostalgia. These are the best tag team in the world right now. They deserve this. They deserve to be in the biggest wrestling stage. Yeah.
And to to have such a run that send shockwaves around the world. Not in WWE. You don't get that very often. Exactly. Only from New Japan or something. But finally, I'd recommend anyone to go onto the WWE website, look at the superstars, and type in Matt Hardy, and you see his picture. The broken gimmick will always be there in some ways. That's on the WrestleMania our WrestleMania preview. It's on the thumbnail, so I'll give that another plug. Go check it out, and you'll know what I mean. Moving on to the number #BeachBallMania. We had the cruiserweight match, non-title match between Neville and Mustafa Ali. Top match. It was match of the night for me. But Beach Ball Mania took over, and no one wanted to pay attention to this match, unfortunately.
Yeah, talk about new starts. That was incredible. And I just reiterate what I said earlier. Neville is so good. He is. I don't want him to ever lose the title. I want him to be cruiserweight champion until I die. He's so good, and Mustafa Ali, he is a top cruiserweight. He is exactly what you think a cruiserweight is. And they just put a great match on. You could see Neville was getting frustrated, and it worked really well with the character. And he didn't give them the red arrow. That was nice. And I just want to talk about that springboard thing he did, like Mustafa Ali. It was just incredible. Like, the ropes must be so small, so to do that is top.
Yeah, it was just incredible. Because I said to you a few weeks back, I was like, what was that guy? He debuted on Raw.
Yeah.
And he's like a couple of weeks, and he showed off his finisher, like the inverted 450, 450 splash. And he's gone. Yeah. And he's come back. I think he was on 205 Live a couple of weeks ago, and he's back, and that's why I remembered him in some form, because exactly. He's a great performer.
Yeah, the cruiserweights is about remembering people. So yeah, it's good that you remembered him, and we saw him again. No areas this week though, but on 205 Live he won the fatal four-way to be cruiserweight number one contender again, and we'll see that at Payback. And yeah, the WrestleMania match was great, being on the pre-show. And we'll see that all again at Payback, hopefully in the main card, and they can really have the time to shine. And yeah, it's a good start to the year for the cruiserweights. I think what I'm dreaming of is a cruiserweight invasion. I hope we see that one day. That'd be great.
Imagine.
Led by King Neville. It'd be fantastic.
If he had some ammunition, if he had a few more top stars by his side, then we would be all for it. There's going to be a superstar shake-up. Brackets, draft, mini draft.
I read though it's not really a draft. This is how WWE have put it. Is the WWE chairman will be granting both sides an opportunity to make trades, deals, and other moves they feel fit. So yeah, it's not really a draft. It's not what we want. It's what Vince wants for stories, for money, for B shows and A shows, basically.
Yeah, but it's still exciting nonetheless, because if there's opportunities for wrestlers that might not have come on another brand, there's rumours about will or will not Sami Zayn go to SmackDown Live, or go back to July. There was maybe Cesaro wasn't fit for Raw. We know what happened to him now. He's doing well. But yeah, they will, and that was short, and nice that he announced it a week before
himself as well.
And because it makes people excited, and for that crowd, the Raw after Mania is going to get another pop, and that's what we want. And that led to
but just at the minute, I don't think any big names are going to move at all. I mean, Raw have already set their storylines out completely, and on SmackDown they said something will happen next week pending the superstar shake-up, and it's just don't try and make it like that. What will happen? We know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So maybe we will see Sami Zayn move, but apart from that, I think it's going to be kind of Jinder Mahal going to SmackDown and things like that. And yeah, the big storyline's already set, I think.
I think there might be at least one big one.
Hopefully there's a big surprise and it just messes all storylines up. That would be good. But at the minute, I don't think it's going to be AJ Styles. I don't think it's going to be him at all.
Well, after Vince, announced this superstar shake-up, he had another announcement to make. The new Raw GM. And at first we thought it was a Hall of Famer, but we thought it was going to be Angle at first.
Yeah.
And out comes Teddy Long. I mean, no one really wanted to. I mean, we obviously knew it was a joke.
Yeah.
But it's just annoying.
It was. Teddy Long is so annoying.
I know you're not his biggest fan.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame was a fantastic night, ruined by Teddy Long saying he's not going to talk for long. Then he talked for like half an hour about setting up rings and things. Like, yeah, come on. I would rather see like DDP come out with something like, yeah, go away, Teddy.
From his Hall of Fame speech, it wasn't the most entertaining. I mean, the stuff with JBL and Ron Simmons added something to it. But I mean, he was just there at the Hall of Fame, and they gave him an opportunity to come out. I feel like he's got smaller.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got smaller.
And what he tweeted is, I think he said he started his career by he helped like set up a ring. I literally think one day he's just been really polite, saw these men struggling. He's like delivering coffee or something. He's helped them, and they've went, yeah, you've got a job, and he hasn't told them he was there by mistake, and he just hasn't told anyone for like years, and he ended up being GM. That seems the kind of person Teddy is. He was just wandering around the streets one day, and they've pulled him in.
Yeah. Who's the actor off Superbad? Not Jonah Hill, the other guy.
Oh, Michael Cera.
Yeah, there's like a meme about him. Just his face. It looks like he was just wandering around and then just like got a job as an actor. This is exactly the same as Teddy Long. I thought that was going to go terribly. Then I thought, should I say this because I don't know what his name is?
No,
I'm hoping Brad knows what the name is. At least that didn't go terribly. We'll need to edit that out. Obviously Teddy Long went away, and Kurt Angle comes out to the chorus of "You Suck" chants.
This was even better than Hall of Fame "You Suck" chants, because Raw After Mania, #Raw After Mania every 5 seconds. But we all knew it was coming, and they set it up nicely though. They said like, Mick's gone, Stephanie's gone for a table, so she'll be gone for a while. So we have to have a new GM, and who better than Kurt Angle at the minute?
Who better?
He's got a new contract with WWE. He's Hall of Famer now. So why not?
He can't say WWE properly.
He can't.
He goes WWE.
It really does annoy me. At first, I thought he was just really nervous during the Hall of Fame, and he just can't say it. But nonetheless, he's a top guy. Deserved everything he's got lately, and apparently there's rumours this will lead to him coming back in ring, which I'd like to see for a bit.
That'd be top, wouldn't it?
Yeah, forget everything I say about part timers. Kurt's different, because he's. Goldberg didn't wrestle for 12 years. Kurt's been doing indie scenes for a few years now, so it's not like he's in bad shape or anything.
I'm not at all.
And even if it's just for one match, I'd love to see that. But for now, I'm excited that he's GM.
Yeah, and it gives for the opportunity to create more memories with the backstage segments.
Exactly.
There's a couple of nice ones today as well, on Monday as well.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing we need on Raw, because we've had Mick and Stephanie shoved down our throats for months. So yeah, like. The one that got to me, that's not how you spell soft. Just that, it's just small things.
So good, isn't it?
They're really funny, and it's just the kind of thing you need, especially on the Raw After Mania.
They could just shove that down our throats with all of these comical segments, and I would still enjoy watching every single one.
I've had Sexy Kurt stuck on my head for days. Like it just won't go away. I want it to, but it won't, and I enjoy it every time it comes into my head. So yeah, we can have all these Kurt funny moments, and it's not going to bother me.
No. And we'll move on, and it was a New Day Open challenge, and
pardon the pun to the revival,
and gave it a great opportunity. We knew that there were going to be some debuts on both shows from NXT, and that we definitely got that. And this is what people wanted. I'm not sure. I thought they might be on SmackDown, the revival.
No, it was kind of thought. I think they're the best tag team on NXT. Well, they were. I think Triple H is behind them so much that he'd wanted them on the main show. I think we'll see DIY on SmackDown, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the fact that it hasn't worked as much as it could have for American Alpha.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault. Maybe that's try and put Revival on the A show and just get with it.
But their match, like American Alpha against the Revival, was so good. Like there's something there, and that's why they should have been on SmackDown, I guess. So they could have brought that back. But at the minute, you kind of needed a tag team shake up on both brands. So why not put the best tag team in NXT on your best show?
Yeah. and it was a nice finish to the match. And it wasn't the longest match ever, but sometimes it's like I said, the cruiserweight match was the match of the night.
Yeah,
it's not all about the wrestling, especially in this. It's about the promos, it's about the aftermath of WrestleMania, and it's about new breed of wrestlers. It's about moments, and that was certainly a moment to savour.
Yeah. They really sent out that message, didn't they?
And before we move on, just talking about the tag team with this, talking about the Superstar Shake-Up. But what do you think? How do you think it's going to go for the Revival? And what do you think about the New Day? Are the New Day going to stay on Raw?
Quickly, I just want to say the tag match on NXT Takeover was incredible. Tag team matches on NXT are so different to tag matches on Raw and SmackDown. Like you need to go watch it. Just go and watch every Revival match against DIY, and you'll love it. The only thing I would think is DIY might stay for a bit, just to kind of give that Authors of Pain a bit of a leeway before they bring in a new tag team, because there's only really the DIY and Authors of Pain at the minute, so maybe they'll stay for a bit. But yeah, I think we might see the New Day on SmackDown, just because it's something fresh. It's what we want, but. Also, I can see why they would stay on Raw, because it's the flagship show. It's the top merchandise sellers on Raw, because you see them for longer, I guess. So in Vince's head, it's a business idea, but for us, it should be a wrestling point of change. And the Revival, they could go to SmackDown. We see them like just an introduction, I guess, like on Raw, then we just see them on SmackDown. I think like the tag teams and the smaller guys are where we have to like get excited about on the Superstar Shake-Up, because we're not going to see, Big Roman go to SmackDown or anything.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about this is just a couple of additions and a bit of a mix-up, and it creates so many more opportunities and so many, just because I think both tag teams, like, I was excited for that ladder match, even with just that triple threat. I thought it might be Enzo and Cass's moment. So it would have been nice nonetheless. Going forward, maybe not much. You get the Hardys, you get the Revival in. There's so many different opportunities now, and it's very, very exciting.
Yeah, like even like just thinking about the Revival against the Hardys, like two generations going at it. It's nice. The Hardys be used to fighting people like the Revival in like the indie scene, and yeah, like. Yeah, you need to think about these opportunities for the smaller guys, and I think that's what the Superstar Shake-Up's for. But I hope someone comes over and they make a big impact. They don't just appear on the card every week. It's a big impact. That's what I want from this. Yeah,
we certainly had some big impacts, the last couple of days, and hopefully it's going to stay the same in terms of the quality of the matches. And another impact of Monday, in the women's division. Yeah. Emma's finally here. We're no longer going to see these vignettes. No. We've seen for many weeks, and she appeared at Emelina. She went away, more vignettes, and here she is, just as Emma. Which is good.
This is good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. When she's on that table, and Byron, he made me laugh so much at this point. This is what Raw needs. Just funny moments like this. And Michael goes, "That's like the closest you've ever come to a girl," or something.
Yeah.
It was really funny, that bit, and like just seeing them all stare at Emma was funny.
She made a great impression.
Exactly. She had a great few minutes in that ring, and it set up a nice story as well, going into Payback and things, with Charlotte and Nia.
And this, on the WrestleMania preview that we did, we sort of said less is more. And although we were talking about just the matches as a whole, you just get Emma in there for a few minutes, and remind everyone what her gimmick was, because she had that gimmick on NXT and then on the main roster for a short time before she got injured.
Yeah, people are really into it as well.
Yeah,
they're back into it now as well. Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what was going through her head, especially when the Emelina stuff didn't, or rumor has it that just they didn't think she was committed to it. She probably thought this could be the beginning of a downward spiral, but 1 week and she brought it back. I'm not saying that everything's going to be incredible.
Yeah, I think we're going to see like her above Dana, because Dana's made a bad impression. But
she's a face, but she's not a face. She's just there.
Muscling, she.
Yeah, and like people aren't going to cheer her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to see Emma number 1 contender. Maybe now, maybe next pay-per-view. Yeah, they've done well with bringing her, because when she was before, like she came from NXT, she was like one of the top names in the women's division. I think she'll get back to that as well. Maybe she'll move to SmackDown, and again, like this was just an introduction.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's top.
That would be a bad opportunity on SmackDown, but
Exactly.
I think she's going to stay on Raw. Saying that, she's not like directly involved in Charlotte and Nia.
Yeah.
Like she just like backed out of the ring, which was fair enough.
Yeah.
So maybe she'll go to SmackDown, and Eva Marie isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
So I'd rumoured that her contract is not going to be renewed. So yeah, like
Have you been watching Total Divas?
No, I haven't. This was just on Twitter, because that's
Sure.
that's although did come back for the second half of that series, but I don't want to talk about Total Divas.
No, I was just asking because it sounded like you've done some research or something.
On Twitter. And I think that was just about it on the
Bailey and
Bailey, Dana, and Sasha defeated.
Sasha made Charlotte tap, and I know we said it'd be nice that Charlotte's going to start losing now, but I don't want to see her lose on
No,
Raw.
I don't.
Like, she tapped out, like, for God's sake.
And she's tapping out a lot to
Sasha.
Sasha,
Yeah, exactly.
especially on free TV.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see maybe Emma next, number 1 contender, and then we'll slowly build that Sasha and Bailey to SummerSlam, I think.
Finally something a bit fresh. But
Yeah.
I don't mean that to have a go at Charlotte, because I really don't mean her when I say that. I just think that 4 as a whole was just shoved down our throats, and something fresh with Emma.
Yeah, Nia and Charlotte as well. Again, it's just 2 power weights going at it. There's nothing there, but it's just 2 power weights.
As expected, there's another promo from Paul Heyman, just addressing the ongoings from WrestleMania, and we'll incorporate what happened with Goldberg on Brawl Talk as well. But firstly, Heyman just gave the standard promo and just what happened, and he was right, and everyone should listen to him. And out came Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I really like Paul Heyman's promo this week. It was different. It wasn't his usual. He told the story he tells his kids, and it was really nice. Kind of bigging himself up and his associate Lesnar as well. The one thing is, just watching Lesnar stand there, I'm bored of him as champion already. I hate him as champion already. Like, I understand he's like a real life fighter, and he deserves to be champion, because in the real world he would be. But I just hate him. Like, just hate him standing there. Like, Paul Heyman should be champion. Like, he knows how to work. He knows how to work the mic. But it's all part of Lesnar's character, I guess. But yeah, the best thing. I remember like a few weeks ago in the podcast, I said I wanted this to happen straight away, and it did. Braun Strowman facing up against Brock Lesnar. It was everything I wanted this week on Raw. Like, Braun made Lesnar look tiny. That's the thing I really took from this. Like, Braun is a huge guy. Like, it's not really sunk in until now that he's absolutely massive. And the crowd were chanting Braun as well. Like, like the Raw after Mania, what you hear is kind of how everyone feels, and we all really behind Braun, and we want him to continue doing well.
Well, I think that it is a shame that he didn't win the Battle Royal, because that would have just fit, what's next for him, But if he can't topple people in the Battle Royal, then it's just like
exactly
you can't move on to Lesnar. But despite that, it was still a really nice touch. But he sort of, for people who didn't watch Raw, he sort of didn't directly challenge Lesnar.
No.
He just said, once I'm finished with Roman, I'm coming for you. So maybe Strowman and Roman is going to be the
Main
sort of the
event.
standout match
Main
of
event at Payback, I think.
Payback, if Lesnar's not going to be around.
Yeah, I think so. I think that will be our main event, maybe in a contender match. And I just don't like that Braun's still going to Roman. I guess it gives Roman something to do rather, before he challenges Brock as well, because that's what Paul did. Paul called out Brock, and he said about you're the one in 23-2, and Brock's the other one in 23-2. And I think that's going to set up WrestleMania 33. I think they're going to call that main event like by SummerSlam, and I think they're going to build it like John and The Rock. But yeah, like I guess Braun shouldn't be done with Roman because Undertaker came out, so Payback will be that final Payback, I guess. Pardon the pun. And hopefully Braun wins, and you can, even if he doesn't beat Brock, I want to see. Like, forget Goldberg. I want to see two heavyweights really go at it. Like, it'd be a great match.
It'd be top, you know. And you know, I really think that Strowman is a workhorse. To be honest, I think that you can tell from his matches last year and his matches this year how much weight he's lost as well, and how much committed he is to the character. And last year we didn't really know how strong he was on the mic. He didn't really speak. You know, he's great on the mic.
Yeah.
I really wanted to come out and say something about like mocking the fact that Brock is never on the mic and he's got Heyman as his voice, but that didn't happen. Be interesting to see, you know, Strowman take some suplexes.
Yeah, but then I'd love to see, you know, Brock take a chokeslam.
Exactly.
Like, you know, if they did this, I hope they really did like tell it well, and they let like Brock get touched a bit, because like, you know, he can't be untouchable forever. And the thing I liked most is just at the end, like when Braun walked out and went, "You know who I am." Like, it's so good, and we're not going to expect it. Maybe that May 8th episode he's on about, Braun's going to come out and attack Brock, because, you know, I understand that they've worked with the Beast Incarnate Brock for years now, but like I said, he can't be untouchable forever, and we need someone like Braun to show Brock he's not the only beast on Raw.
Well, what a better way, you know, and to sort of come back from, you know, he lost to Roman at Fastlane, which people had the reservations about, and he didn't win the Battle Royal, which he was probably favourite for it. And certainly in my eyes, we both predicted him to. And Mojo won that one.
I think because it was on the pre-show, like, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work with any stories. Like maybe Mojo on SmackDown needed it more, so they've kind of come to the agreement that Braun doesn't need it because he'd still be in the title pitch, main event picture on Raw. But yeah, I would believe it more if Braun gave Brock a beating than if Roman gives Brock a beating.
Yeah,
because we've seen like Braun nearly like kill everyone he's come like into contact with. Like even in that Survivor Series main event, like he was attacking everybody. He's so dominant that someone like Brock would be perfect for him to. Like we were talking about, he needs that next step. Now he's fought like Big Show, Roman, and Brock is the next step for me. And
also, like we said before, like, you know, with all the Goldberg and Lesnar program, you know, if they're right at the top, I always felt like the rest of the roster are just so far below in terms of just wins and losses. So for Strowman to actually, you know, when Strowman attacks Roman, it's not as thrilling. Imagine if he attacked Brock, like you said.
It's something we really need to
really, but you know, puts himself out there as even more than he already is out there.
Yeah. And
you know, we'll move on.
I don't think Braun is tarnished in any way. I think WWE have done well to let him come out at that point. And he's not buried at all.
I think he has an ability to not suffer as much, you know, just because I think people do remember what he has done, especially since the draft.
So as soon as you think of Braun, I just think of him like killing Sami Zayn in that last man standing match.
So that was top.
You don't forget Braun at all.
Anyway, do you want to sing the chant that the Sheamus and Cesaro chant?
No. It was.
I don't think so. But it was really, really good. Unexpected. It just
I said to you for weeks now, I love them, and I really hope something works for them. And they're so over. They're ridiculously over. Like, if the Hardys weren't there, they'd be tag champions.
It was so cool. Just like when they went Sheamus and Cesaro, and they were just pointing at each other.
Yeah.
It was just the way they were doing it as well. It was like they were going like that, like the
TX.
Yeah, like the NWO. And it's really, really good. And yeah, that was a number one contenders match. I was really sure this one was gonna go. But near the end, I thought, Sheamus and Cesaro will probably go over, which creates
tension in Enzo and Cass. A great match
and a great face match at Well, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's
see, I think it'll be next week. I honestly think
really?
the Hardys are going to lose very soon already.
You don't think they'll wait until Payback for it?
I don't know. I'm going to check the Payback card quickly.
I think the only match that is confirmed at the moment is Owens and Jericho.
Yeah.
As you're searching for people, the Payback promotional poster has been released and Jericho's on that. Rumours that that's the last pay-per-view that he's going to be working before he goes away for a bit.
Yeah.
You know, with his tour with Fozzy, which is a shame. Which is a big shame, but at the time
nice
people were expecting it because it has been heavily reported.
Yeah, it's nice though because you know, he can come back in like a few months rather, and like we said before, you just don't forget him. You hear break the walls, and it's great. But yeah, Kevin Owens the only confirmed match so far. So I think this could be next week maybe, because they might give the Revival a match at Payback.
Oh yeah.
But
you sort of forget about that. Could be a really really good card.
Exactly, like they just bringing 2 tag teams in and then getting Sheamus and Cesaro over. You've got a whole new dynamic there already. And
also, I always had this impression that, you know, like you said, it's a new season. It's going to take a while to build up. It's going to be quite a quiet phase. But you bring these new stars in, and it's like you have the appetite again. You're not as sad that WrestleMania's finished and you've got to wait another year or a few months till like SummerSlam or one of the big 4. And it's just like you add some people and freshen things up, and the card looks.
Exactly.
That has the potential to be really good, even if Lesnar isn't on there, and you know the title isn't on that pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think a Payback we might even see Sheamus and Cesaro against the Revival. Like like you said, you could do anything at the minute because it's fresh and it's new. It's what people want to see. And yeah, I think with this one, WWE have finally listened to what people want, and we want Sheamus and Cesaro, and we want Enzo and Cass to go away. Like this week, they didn't even show their entrance. They wanted to show Sheamus and Cesaro's instead.
Well, they sort of did their thing in the backstage interview with Kurt, didn't they?
Yeah, but even still, like Kurt stole that by going that's nice or soft play. It's just great. But yeah, deservingly over, and I think this is maybe they'll even split next week. Like we don't know, and then that could be the end of that. There's a lot we can do with these at the minute, and Sheamus and Cesaro are 2 great talents, so they can take whatever's in their path, I think.
Yeah, like they have before, Cesaro's been around and Sheamus has been relevant, top, mainly on Raw for, he's been around mainly for 7 years. 7 years ago he faced Triple H at WrestleMania 26, and he stayed around. So moving on, this match, Sami Zayn and Jinder's around for a bit. It's just I feel like it was just made to keep Jinder relevant slightly. And from that segment, just to give Angle something as well to make this match as GM. Yeah,
this is literally like Battle of the Jobbers. I'm so glad Sami won. If Sami lost, I would give up. Like,
it's never going to happen.
I hope Jinder goes away. I hope the superstar shake-up means people can go away as well. Because I want Jinder and Natalya to go away. That would be my just go away. I really hate Jinder. Like, I don't even know why he's here. Like, why is he here? Like, he's the ultimate jobber. Yeah. He's a jabroni.
He should, bring. Well, now Drew McIntyre's back.
Exactly. Like,
and Heath's around. Let's bring 3MB back.
No, that's not.
it would be a gradual decline. Or bring the Social Outcast back. Adam Rose isn't there. Bring Jinder back in, and then he can finally get moved on from WWE. This could be great. Then he'd go away, work the Indies, come back to NXT, and move up again, and then go away again. That's what's going to happen to. I can't see much happening with Drew McIntyre.
Sounds like a 5-year plan. Yeah. Jinder Mahal, Universal Champion.
It's long-term booking. I've just
long-term.
Yeah, I've just planned out the rest of his career.
How WWE should book Jinder Mahal's career.
Not sure if that one would take off as much.
Yeah, I just Yeah, like I think Sami might move to SmackDown just because he's just been put against Jinder Mahal. Like, it kind of works with, like, he fought Rusev for a bit, and Rusev was Jinder's tag partner. So I guess there's like a little connection there. But apart from that, he's literally just battled a jobber. And like, we're talking about Sami Zayn, like, future world champion here. And
yes or no? Does he go to SmackDown?
Yeah, IC title match straight away.
Right on.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would,
Shane O'Mac,
there's
if
a
you're
lot
listening.
I feel like there's probably. Well, I'm not sure because in the main event of Raw there was a lot of technical wrestlers. I'd say maybe SmackDown there's a lot more technical wrestlers. I mean, with
Yeah.
a certain someone on SmackDown now from
Yeah.
NXT.
But on the main event on Raw, which we'll get to, Triple H put the hashtag We're NXT because they're all NXT, but Sami Zayn's been left out of the picture. So that's what I mean. Like, Seth Rollins has taken Sami Zayn's spot in that, I'd say.
Yeah.
So Sami's not the ultimate babyface at the minute. So just let him go to SmackDown and let him be great.
We could see another match with certain Shinsuke. Imagine that. There's a lot of potential with Shinsuke and AJ, and that'd be.
Yeah, I hope we kind of get over the face versus heel because everyone's saying we can't. We'll get to it. Like, we were really rushed ahead, but people are saying we can't see AJ versus Shinsuke anymore. But you can. Like, why do you have to have a face against a heel all the time? But yeah, we'll get to that anyway.
Like you said, some matches can just be purely about the wrestling.
Yeah.
It's great. We dabbled with the main event, and we'll probably get into it now. And although it was not a bad tag team match, the main talking point was we sort of knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. Backstage with Kurt.
Yeah.
He said he'd find someone you kind of knew. The Balor chants all night.
Yeah. It was meant to be Jericho, but he got jumped by KO.
I really like I really like that segment. He's the best on the mic, definitely. Like, all those years experience, and it's always like just the way he cut it, and then he got beat down. And I love that. I love Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens together. I love the way they're just two big men destroying everything in their path, and very rightly so, the destroyer and the prize fighter.
Yeah, I hope Joe stays as strong as he should be booked.
Yeah. He's definitely a future Universal Champion.
And like you said, we had Rollins, Owens and Samoa Joe with the three NXT champions, and the fourth one, the returning Finn Balor. He hasn't wrestled since he got injured at SummerSlam, and he was back. And what a fitting way to do it with such the crowd as well.
Yeah, his pop was probably bigger than the Hardys. It was huge.
I mean, I think everyone knew that it was going to happen because he's worked live events and he's ready to go. He's even tweeted he's ready to go. But the fact that he had such a big pop anyway proved how popular he is with the crowd. And how much the crowd are for him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like with the live events you're talking about, it was Sami Zayn instead of Seth Rollins in those with Jericho and that. So yeah, it's kind of taken Sami out of it now, which I'm not that happy about because he did all that work while Rollins was injured with Samoa Joe when it should have been Rollins and Samoa Joe. So yeah, I think he's done gratitude for Raw there, and he's been really helpful. And I think it's time to move him on now to SmackDown and let these four NXT guys dominate the show. Like, I honestly forgot about Roman Reigns because these four to me are the top four in probably the WWE at the minute, and the five would make AJ Styles as well. Like, those five are just top.
And I think it's great on such a big Raw, the biggest Raw we have, every year, to have that match of that caliber. Four guys from NXT coming up, working their way up, putting in such an effort, and here we are, and they're, Roman aside, those four have all great programs. KO and Samoa Joe will probably always be involved with each other, working against other people, and that's exciting in itself. And we'll see what, if Rollins is still going to be involved with that. We had that tag team match for a reason, and it just has there's much anticipation, especially with a certain Finn Balor. And me myself, haven't really been that familiar with him. I know he's still, over to New Japan with the Bullet Club, came over in NXT, bet on himself, as a lot of wrestlers like to say, worked his way up. I haven't seen many matches. I haven't seen many of his matches. I watched back his match with Seth Rollins, which was a great match, but was sort of tarnished by the chance against the Universal title. So I have in the back of my mind what he can do, but I'm really looking forward to seeing a redesign for him now and see how he can work himself back up. Well, he's up there anyway.
Yeah, it just takes you by surprise how someone from NXT is so over straight away, and then disappear for nearly a year and then come back and still so over. But yeah, I think we're going to see a Seth Rollins Samoa Joe program for a bit. you know, like, you inched my leg, so I'm gonna beat you up, that kind of story. And then obviously we've got Owens and Jericho for a bit. But then my brother was like, you know, maybe Balor can go for the United States title straight away and you know, become a champion straight away again, because obviously he's not going to beat Brock. So, you know, I really think the US title is going to be the Universal title at the minute, because we're never going to see Brock.
I think so.
You know, it will become a very prestigious title in the next few months, I believe.
Yeah, which shouldn't really happen, but that's just the way it is. I think
And that's like,
they're going with that with Brock and everything. So
yeah, and that's like Dean moves to Raw and takes the IC title with him, because that's more prestigious, obviously.
yeah, but I don't see that happening.
No, but then they could just give the US title to you know, across. But
Anyway.
yeah, I really think, you know, Balor's going to do wonders for being back on Raw. He's exactly what the main event needed, and this face turn for Rollins, and hopefully we see a lot more of Samoa Joe now, because he is probably the best wrestler on Raw, like technically, the best wrestler on Raw. And yeah, Kevin Owens is the best. So
Yeah, and overall impressions of Raw, one of the best in
one of the
a
best
long
Raws
time.
since the draft last year, I'd say.
Yeah,
And that was just because it was exciting. Like, this is actual. Yeah, like the last big Raw I could think of is that Fatal 4-Way where Owens won the Universal title.
yeah.
Like, that's and I can't think of a bigger Raw from that since.
And that was the Raw after SummerSlam.
Exactly. So the Raw after Mania is always big, but this is probably. I mean, last year we had the debut of Apollo Crews, but this year we had the debut of the Revival, and you know, it was a top show.
I totally agree. And like I said, for the last few weeks, Raw has either been level with SmackDown or had the edge, and it was always going to be hard for SmackDown to top that, wasn't it? And I feel like Raw had the edge and then some with SmackDown, because on Raw there was, bar like a little filler match between Zayn and Jinder, it was all worthwhile and all segments that we will all remember really for a while. SmackDown, not as much.
No.
Raw got off with a bang. SmackDown, not so much.
How did it even start? I can't
It
remember.
was a lame Randy Orton promo.
Oh yeah.
And you could tell, SmackDown Live's crowd was always gonna be a good one, not as much as Raw. And even with a good crowd there, just wasn't. They weren't for Randy. I don't think many of them could see the reason behind why Randy is champ.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's boring.
Mm.
Like, that promo was so boring. You've just won the WWE title at WrestleMania. Like, have a party or something. Even Neville had a party on 205 Live.
Mm.
So just do something, and don't be so he is so serious. And I get that's good for business, but yeah, come on, why is he champion? Let Bray be champion.
Yeah. What do you think of this talks of this House of Horrors match that's gonna?
Well, I said to you straight away, it's literally going to be the Ambrose Asylum match, and apparently it is.
Really?
Yeah, apparently it's just a steel cage with shit going on.
Great.
Maybe be a Hell in a Cell with stuff going on, but yeah, I imagine more maggots are going to appear in the ring and things like that. It's so stupid. Just let Bray be Bray without having to introduce all this silliness.
Well, I think that people. I think maybe a lot were expecting the crowd to, popping away at this House of Horrors match, but they were just like, "What's this?"
It reminds me
they wasn't like, "Oh, what's this going to be?" And this is great. They were just like,
It reminds me of the silly gimmicks in the Attitude Era, but that was fun at the time because it was such a not serious period. We're talking about the main event picture here on SmackDown on your show, and House of Horrors. They could prove us wrong, and it could be a match of wonders, but I think if you've got the main event on the line, the WWE title on the line, and Randy Orton in it, it's not going to be what it should be.
No, I just think Randy as a face has been tried a lot in the past, and Randy as a face with the title.
Yeah. But as a heel, he's just ridiculously good.
Yeah.
When I think of him as a heel, I think of when he's just kicking all the McMahons in the head. Just go back to that.
Yeah.
It's great. Why can't he beat up Shane McMahon now?
Yeah, well, the only positive from this segment was the return of Eric Rowan.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I've been seeing his YouTube videos and his promos, and a nice mask now, a newer, nicer mask.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just came back to SmackDown for. It's like they don't think Bray can do it by himself. I think he always needs this Wyatt family member, and I imagine a few weeks down the line they're going to break up as well and turn on, and Eric's going to turn on Bray, and Bray, he's so talented. Just let him be him. Stop giving him all these silly things to do.
Yeah, it's like I said before, you end up going a tiny bit too far with the supernatural stuff, and it's like when it was just moderated, it was fine, and like I've said before, there was more sense in his promos, and then it just took a turn for the worst, and people are just like, this doesn't make any sense. But before, people are a lot more invested in it. And that sort of just set up the main event. And once I knew that was the main event, I thought, I hope something in the middle, or like some debuts or something exciting enough, is gonna make me want to watch SmackDown Live to the end.
Yeah, because like you said, with the gimmicks and things, even people were getting mad. Like, not a spoiler, but in the main event, like, it went black and he appeared on the ramp. Like, back in a few weeks ago, that wouldn't bother anybody. It's just Bray being Bray. But now people just hate everything that Bray's character does because it's been made a joke really by SmackDown.
Yeah, which is a shame. But as I've said before, he does have the ability to try and come back, and he does come back strong. And but after the showing, and especially in the main event, he didn't really seem that way. He seemed very, very weak. And like just laughing at a loss, leaving Eric in the ring. Like, I'm sort of spoiling this now, but it doesn't make him the guy that won the title at Elimination Chamber, the guy who beat Cena and AJ in a triple threat match, the guy who had the title going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, if we look a few weeks back, I was most excited for the Bray match and the KO match because
especially the Bray match. I was buzzing for it.
Exactly. He's just picked up the biggest win of his life at Elimination Chamber, and we're all so behind him. And then you said it was the worst match on the card, and I would have to agree in some way that it's definitely at the lower performance. But yeah, like, they've really taken everything out of this. Like, I'm always going to be a fan of Bray, but I have no interest in him at the minute, And then contrasting that, KO did wonders, and I'm so behind KO at the minute. I think he's going to run Raw.
And the woman that is running the women's division on SmackDown at the moment is Naomi, and that was she defeated Alexa Bliss to retain the SmackDown women's title. I think it was nice to sort of raise spirits and put that out. I mean, obviously they weren't going to predict that the promo was going to be a poor one, and the crowd went with it. But I think it was nice to just lift the spirits with Naomi winning again. Did she make Alexa tap again?
I think so.
Yeah, and she was really close to the ropes as well.
I said she could literally put her leg out. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Alexa ran SmackDown for a bit, when nothing else was going right for the women's division there, and then she's just been treated poorly twice in 2 nights. Like, I know they want to go in the direction of Naomi as champion, but I just think Alexa's so talented, so good on the mic, so good in the ring. I mean, I know there's going to be one champion, but don't let her look so weak. Like, obviously they've done it so a new person can move into the picture, and they have to get rid of her somehow. But Charlotte's still in the picture on Raw every week, so why can't Alexa?
Yeah, and I think with Charlotte on Raw, she's always been able to stay relevant, but Alexa's been able to stay relevant. It's just like there's more trust with Charlotte. Like, Alexa can be there and just have these back. I quite enjoy the matches between Alexa and Naomi, actually. I mean, there hasn't been anything really fresh or decent women's matches. I think there's a Nikki Bella and Natalia match quite a while back. It was like a Falls Count Anywhere. That was actually quite decent. And I can't really remember any matches around that, really. So it's interesting. to see not just how long Naomi is going to have this title for, but who else is going to step up now, because she's beat Alexa twice now.
Yeah, like you said, there's no confidence in Alexa whatsoever. That's why they put every woman on the roster in that WrestleMania match. When it could have just been, Mickie James versus Alexa, Naomi versus Alexa, it would have really, even if it's 5-10 minutes long, we'd have really enjoyed it, because it's not just a mess in the ring. It's two women proving why it's the revolution at the minute. And hopefully, I say this all the time, but hopefully someone like Asuka comes up. There's been rumours that Peyton Royce and Billie Kay will come up as well, and just something, two bad heels against the ultimate face of Naomi would be great. So that SmackDown does need something from this superstar shake-up anyway.
Yeah, especially on SmackDown. And talking about shake-ups and debuts with this sort of two big names coming up to SmackDown, and a couple of them were expected to go to SmackDown, and they were both good choices. And we start with Ty Dillinger.
Yeah.
I know the New Day did it and did an open challenge and that call for the debut of the Revival, but if it works and it gives a pop, why not? Kurt Hawkins challenging, and I like the way he said, I'm going to give it to the count of 10.
Yeah.
Theme starts and Dillinger comes out, and I like Dillinger on NXT. I've seen a couple of notable matches, one of them which takeover against Bobby Roode, and I'm a big fan of him. And it's not just the fact that he's come up now; it's he's finally come up now. There was a clip of him as like a bodyguard or something. He's getting super kicked by Shawn Michaels back in 2006.
Sure.
So it proves how long he's been there. Do you think this is the right place for him? Or
SmackDown's, like we always say, it's the B show, but it's the land of opportunity. It gives you time to shine in those 2 hours when the card's a bit less packed, more free flowing. I remember that match against Bobby Roode. I really remember that. But for me, Bobby Roode kind of stole that, because he's just great, Bobby Roode. He's glorious, rather. And there's nothing really for me that Ty Dillinger has done that makes me go wow yet. But I think we will see that on SmackDown. A lot of the roster have been saying he's very talented, and I believe them. And I think we'll see it soon. Yeah,
I agree. I think the nice thing about this is you've got straight away an instant mid card out or upper mid card, and that can have some decent feuds with a range of people.
Yeah, people like Dolph Ziggler, which challenged him to that dark match.
Which is a good thing to see, and with the superstar shake-up, you never know who might go over. Like you'd like to see maybe Sami Zayn and Dillinger, two NXT guys. There's a lot of options, and that's always good when there is a shake-up of the roster. Now we'll move on very quickly.
Yeah. What I noticed though is we keep like today, especially if we keep referring to these NXT matches. Like that just proves how great NXT is and how it's really running WWE at the minute. Because like we finished on the WrestleMania special, we finished. It's the end of an era completely now, and now it's all about the wrestling, and NXT's given us that. So talking about NXT.
Yeah, talking about NXT. What else they gave us was the long-awaited debut of Shinsuke Nakamura. And we all thought that it was going to be SmackDown. I certainly thought there would be, and I thought it would be the best place for him.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially because this can be a long build. He's been in NXT for a year, and they can take the time with Nakamura, build him up in SmackDown, and see what happens. If you want, he could go over to Raw in the near future. But it sort of started with Miz's promo. He dressed up as Cena, and Maurice dressed up as Nikki Bella. And Cena and Nikki weren't there.
Yeah.
They're going to be away for a while. And like I said, it would have been a lot more effective if Miz had won at Mania. Miz and Maurice, the fact that they're the reasons they're going.
They called him out again.
Yeah.
And all it took was Nikki to tweet, I need some time to heal or something. So, it's...
Yeah.
Instead of letting Miz and Maurice win, they just did it by a tweet.
But and as the Miz and Maurice were about to leave the ring, we hear the tune of the violin, and the crowd were getting very hyped.
Yeah.
And it was a cracking entrance that we've seen before, but we don't mind seeing again.
You could see it every week, and it really went. The violin's such a lovely sound, so I could hear that every week, and his music is great. This is the only time you heard the crowd so vocal. SmackDown after Mania, as they say, and they'll just sing along to his theme. Long awaited debut, and maybe he'll be going into a feud now with the Miz.
Yeah, because he didn't, he just came out and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything to the Miz either, and we did see a sort of interaction as Shinsuke was coming in the ring. The Miz then left, and it would be a nice starting point for Nakamura to feud with someone who's had, the Miz, who's had a cracking last year, one of the best years of his career. Yeah,
I feel like it will stem from you've interrupted my promo or whatever, just something small like that. But it
doesn't need much, does it?
Exactly. This will be a fantastic match, and their pay-per-view's not till 7 weeks away, 6 weeks away. So just let it build, and it'll be a top match, probably a match stealer, a show stealer.
Yeah, Baron Corbin beat Dean Ambrose in a street fight match.
In a non-title match.
Non-title match, yeah. It was very confusing on Twitter as well. People didn't know. I guess that's fair enough because Corbin just had the one shot at the IC title at Mania and lost, which I wasn't a big fan of. I think the changing of the title should have happened there. But the fact that he's now won this street fight, which wasn't bad with the time that it had, it sets up another IC match potentially. Well, probably.
That's what I mean. They just need to move on though.
But the only negative that is, I think the next SmackDown pay-per-view is Extreme Rules, and the fact that there was a build that people got tired with before Mania in the end might be quite tiring again. Because
definitely.
It's going to be over a month till the next SmackDown pay-per-view. But did this segment, or let's say this match, do anything from you with the fact that in the back of your head that he lost at Mania to Ambrose?
Not really, no. I said on the WrestleMania one that they could prove me wrong, and they didn't. It's just, I don't know. Dean's so stale at the minute, and he's only good as a heel, and I think they need to take that into consideration. Obviously, Baron's the bad man he is. So you can't really do anything there yet, but Dean needs a heel change very soon, especially with someone like Sami Zayn's coming up.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Exactly, that's what I mean. Just let Extreme Rules. The thing is with his character is if he beat the shit out of someone with a chair, you're just gonna go, it's Wacky Dean. Exactly, they really need to do something that would just make him turn heel. Dean versus Nakamura, that would be great as well. Nakamura's brought so much diversity to the kind of matches you could have now. So just let Dean turn heel and let Baron do something else, and that'd be that. Let Dean be champion for Baron be champion. Just let Dean turn heel.
I'd like a whole rebranding as well with Dean. I'd like the slick back hair again.
Yeah.
From the Shield days. I'm not asking for a bulletproof vest again, but I'd like to get rid of the dirty vest, get rid of the jeans. Just try and reinvent yourself.
He does need that, definitely.
He really does. He probably wouldn't expect that if you go back to July of last year when he finally won the big one.
Yeah.
Cashing in that Money in the Bank contract.
But
why not try and reinvent yourself on the B show like SmackDown Live?
Well, I think they gave it to Dolph, and they should have given it to Dean. Just mention the Hall of Fame. Rick Rude, the ultimate IC champion, he was the ultimate heel, and then the Miz, the most recent best champion, and he was a heel as well. So the IC title suits heels, and Dean should be exactly that.
Yeah, and I'd totally echo that. And that wasn't a bad fight. If anything was an improvement to that opening promo, then that's always a positive.
That's what it needed at Mania, that street fight.
Yeah. And there's another positive. I like this, a short promo with Shane addressing the Superstar Shake-Up.
Definitely.
And a certain AJ Styles comes out and lays the foundations for a face turn.
Yeah, just shook his hand. But what I liked was then he went to punch him, made it hesitant. Shane was a bit like, whoa. And it just keeps that character of AJ, the confident, smug kind of man he is. But if the fans are going to cheer you every week, just let him be face.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was going to say. he has been a great heel with made something of nothing with this Shane thing. But if you're performing like that, if you're that good of a performer, if you're stealing the show, if you're putting on these top quality matches, the crowd are gonna cheer, even if you are a heel.
Exactly.
You know, he got a huge pop out of SummerSlam when he beat Cena. You know, people in shock as well, and especially when he kicked out of that AA from the top rope.
Yeah.
Which no one expected. And turn face. It would be great. And why not? If there's going to be a place where there's going to be face v face matches, it would be SmackDown.
Exactly.
So make it happen.
And in business sense for Vince, like the merchandise is going to go up even more because kids are going to want to be AJ Styles now as well. So you know, the whole phenomenal thing is a brand as well. I know we shouldn't think about things like that, but it is. And yeah, SmackDown, let face versus face happen. Let it be the land of face versus face and heel versus heel.
And it was just a lovely touch with the shaking of the hands and just a whole promo and Shane and AJ burying the hatchet in some form or another.
And he said he wanted to stay as well.
Yeah.
So it just means, you know, he can get on with his commissioner now.
Yeah. But with the high of that, we got to the low, which sounds odd, the low of the main event.
Yeah.
And we touch on this anyway. Did you in any way think that Harper was going to turn heel once again?
No, but it's what it needed. If Luke turned on Randy and all three of them were beating him up in the middle of the ring, then it's giving you know, the underdog face champion and the Wyatt family back, you know. I mean, they shouldn't take a step backwards with Luke, but he didn't have to be back in the Wyatts. He could have just been beating up Randy.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Luke, they could have really gone with Luke as a face, and with everything that could have happened with him at WrestleMania, he ended up in just a Battle Royal, which is a real disappointment. And this whole, you know, Luke and Randy tag team was a bit odd for me. You know, I felt like, are they really going to win and then, you know, carry on this whole match together?
Yeah.
And then end the show with them, you know, not hand in hand, but satisfied with each other as tag team partners. And I thought, nah, especially with Eric coming back, that was the original three, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That came up from NXT, which started in FCW. But and that was another reason why it just left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. The lights go out, Bray Wyatt just runs off and is laughing that Eric Rowan is the one taking the RKO.
Yeah, they literally brought Eric Rowan back to get RKO'd. You know, and I mean, with Luke, it's like this man's like, you know, cost you your family. Like, you're not gonna want to tag team with him at all. I would like to see a 2-on-1 match or something, just something that would put Randy out of favour and prove why he's champion. You know. I just had to think, like, this is irrelevant, but at the end of Raw, when like Balor and Rollins won, like there was like a face off for a bit, and then Rollins lifted Balor's hand up. So like that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like we can look at that though and look at the difference in main events. Like, you know, they definitely need Styles back in that main event on SmackDown. Otherwise, there's nothing there.
Do you think, like, Balor and Rollins, because they're both, like, ultimate faces, do you not think that anything will come between them? Even though, you know, because, you know...
Not yet, but...
Rollins did
it would get to something.
Actually cost Balor.
Yeah, it would get to something.
We'll see, but the potential's in there a lot more on Raw at the moment than SmackDown, which is something a month ago or even more than that I really wouldn't think I would be saying.
I thought it was going to take the return of Balor and things to get it up, but it wasn't. It was just the way they've done things lately. Yeah. And SmackDown. Put AJ back in the main event picture. Get Sami Zayn over. Have some things with Nakamura, and you've got, you know, if you had Styles, Bray, Nakamura, and Sami, there's like just top four there already straight away. You know, that's what Raw have. So why don't you have that as well?
Yeah. Overall impressions of SmackDown?
I'm very much looking forward to the shake up next week to see what SmackDown gets, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
See how it goes. It was just the fact that it was all coming to the end of this WrestleMania process, starting from the Hall of Fame really, and finishing on SmackDown. It was just made SmackDown a bit more enjoyable for me, just to see all this, you know, start and then finish. But if it's a standard week, I say it was okay. It was alright. It had some high moments, obviously with the debuts. But the fact that those debuts happened and we still, I think, I'm certainly saying anyway, it was okay, really makes the point that the other features during the show, albeit the Randy promo at the start and the main event, were very poor.
We have had a lot of people say Nakamura saved SmackDown this week, and I very much agree.
Yeah, and I think that's the end of our episode this week. And once again, check out our WrestleMania review. It was I thought we both felt like we needed to make another episode because it was a jam-packed.
It was a
jam-packed show.
Best WrestleMania in years.
Yeah. And we felt that was one of the reasons we felt like it would be rude not to give an in-depth review, which we did. So go and check that out. That's been the episode for today. Follow us on Twitter at TUS Wrestling. Do you want to plug your Twitter?
TUS Bracket.
And follow me on Twitter at MattDale97. We've been the Undercard Smarks, and we will catch you later.